It's March in the greenhouse, which means spring is almost here. We're just in advance of the equinox and we have so much to do. We're gonna be starting a ton of warm weather seeds. We're hardening off seedlings. I'm gonna plant out some onions. You guys are coming with me for all of it. We are sowing our warm weather seeds today, like our core warm weather crops, tomatoes and peppers, everybody's favorite. I'm gonna start out with these cayenne peppers today because my husband loves when I make hot pepper for our pizzas. I've got a ton of these Botanical Interest seeds. They're my absolute favorite. And one of the reasons why is they actually have a ton of information on the back. They do so much research about what to plant, when to plant it. They test for germination. They're the best. So that's why I use this specific seed company. But we are gonna plant our cayenne seeds today. And they're in this little protective case. And these just go 1/4 inch deep, so I'm really gonna just rest them on the top of the soil. Woo! Do not want to touch your eyes after you've touched the pepper seeds. Word from the wise. Now, before I sow these, I'm going to pre-moisten our soil, like I always do. This helps to make sure your seeds don't wiggle around after you've sown them. Get it nice and moist to help with germination. And then I'll go ahead and place these just gently on the top because they're so small. They really don't need to go very deep, and we'll just sprinkle soil on top of them once they're in place. Okay, so we are just going to gently sprinkle a little bit of soil on top of these to get that 1/4 inch coverage. Nothing fancy. So easy. And we'll give it a little more water. Just a sprinkle, just a touch. Okay, those are done. I'm gonna cross those off my list. We are outside the greenhouse now, hardening off all the seedlings that we've sown over the past couple months. Now, this is just the process of taking your plants outside and getting them accustomed to their natural environment to strengthen them so they don't go into shock when you transplant them. So each day we're gonna increase the amount of time that they're exposed to the elements so that they're out here longer and longer. My trick for this is to set a timer on my phone so that I don't forget, because I will. I have killed so many seedlings. So I'm just gonna set a timer for about 90 minutes, and then tomorrow it's gonna increase and increase over time. Okay, we are outside with my very first filled raised bed. It's been a process, but she is full of delicious compost, topsoil, and you'll notice here some wool pellets, which is an amendment that I like to use, sort of my secret sauce. Creates a lot of porosity in the soil, so you get delicious air pockets, and then also it really holds on to moisture, as well as slowly releases nitrogen over the next 6 months as this decomposes. So it's perfect for onions, which we are trenching in today. So I have had my onion starts in the greenhouse under my shelves in sort of a cool, dark place. I like to start my onions this way. They're from a farm in Texas because they're just the best varieties. They always grow really fabulously for me, and it saves me some time. So what we're gonna do is dig a 4-inch trench in our soil with our trowel and place our onion slips about 4 inches apart. So we're just gonna loosen this up here, get a nice little trench going, really close to the edge of the bed because the onions are gonna pop up pretty condensed. I like to push the boundaries when it comes to spacing because more is more. So we're just gonna eyeball about 4 inches in between each onion. Just set them on their edge and they will shift upright as they grow and as their roots get stronger. Even these little tiny onion starts are going to turn into big, sweet, delicious yellow onions. So this is our first trench, and then our next one, like I said, will be about 4 to 6 inches to the side of that. Smells like a barnyard out here between the compost and the wool pellets. And you'll do this next row, plant it out just the same. Onions are a great crop to interplant with other things because they have a strong scent. They're fantastic companion plants, but I will have so many onions in the garden. We're gonna have dedicated space just for them in addition to weaving them in to the other beds to help with pest control. Okay, so we've got our 2 onion trenches in, and it's so simple. We're just gonna cover them up like this so that all those little baby bulbs are covered. Kind of help them get upright a little bit. And voila. Onions are in. And I've got one more tip for you. So I've been watching the weather. It might get a little bit cold. There might be a late frost coming. So I am prepared with hoops and frost cloth in the event that this happens. I really wanted to get my onions out in the garden, but if it looks like temps are gonna really drop or we're gonna get some weird hail or weather coming, we will just put some of these hoops in to cover everybody and then cover this with frost cloth. So just a little pro tip for you. If you're trying to cheat your season a little bit, but no frost could be coming, this is a great option so that you've got some coverage. We are out here at the chicken coop. I have this stunning Yoderbilt coop that actually matches Greta the greenhouse, and we are gonna get chicks soon. But before we do, I'm actually planting a few things out for them. So there are some herbs that are really beneficial for chickens and chicken health, like rosemary. And I also have some sage and thyme seeds that we're gonna sow as well. Herbs are fantastic for your chickens because they're antimicrobial, they increase the amount of nutrients that they have, and they're just really good for chicken health. So we are gonna start potting up some herbs for them. Now the rosemary, I got these at a local nursery. I was not able to start them myself. If they get stuck in here, you just kind of give them a squeeze. And then let's see, rosemary pretty tough. Now these are a little bit root bound. It's really tough. So you're actually gonna wanna break this up a bit. And you can be pretty rough. Sometimes you can even just kind of loosen these roots because you want them to attach to the soil. I'm gonna cut those up a little bit with my trowel. Okay. Let's go, girls. All right. Loosen this baby up a little bit, and then gonna get a nice deep hole. I'm only putting one rosemary plant in here because the pot's pretty small, and then we are gonna sow seeds for the rest that are gonna really fill this space up nicely. Not quite deep enough. We want that top of this soil block to really match the top of the soil line. I'll come backfill with some really good soil as well. Get this guy in there. I'm gonna break the soil up, make sure there aren't any chunks, some really good potting soil. Let's see. And then I am going to sow our thyme and our sage. Sage is actually gonna get bigger than the thyme, so I'm gonna put that closest to the rosemary. This is broadleaf sage, which is fantastic to cook with. So you and the chickens can enjoy the sage. And we are just going to get these about a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch in. I'm gonna put about, doesn't need to be super precise, but a couple in each hole just to make sure they germinate. I'm gonna cover those up. And then I'm gonna put the thyme closer to the edge because this is gonna hang over a little bit. Our chickens are going to love fresh herbs. Whew. They can also be helpful to keep pests at bay. Chickens can be prone to getting mites and things of that nature. Thyme seeds are so small, you can just sprinkle them in, by the way. And then we're just gonna make sure they get underneath the surface of the soil. Now we just have to water these in. We're gonna keep them nice and moist until they germinate, and we'll be good to go. So I'm super excited for March and for spring to be here. We've got so much to do. I want you guys to keep succession sowing, hardening off, and I'll see you next time.